What's going on, everybody? It's relationship expert Terry Duran, and today I'm going to be talking about a couple of different topics related to sex and relationships. So I'm gonna give everybody a minute that's going to be watching on Instagram Live a minute to get logged in. What's going on, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? I appreciate the love. Thank y'all for tuning in. All right, so we got a couple of posts I'm gonna be talking about today. Um, Let me see. Let me go to my page first. The first one I'm uh, is well, this is something I put up a couple of days ago. It says a lot of women make the mistake of equating a man being monogamous with one woman as an indication that he's a quality man. Using something that's almost impossible to verify as the primary tool to evaluate a man is an extremely flawed dating strategy millions of women believe in. And the reason that I put that post up is women do generally judge men based off their perception of whether he's monogamous or not. That is the primary factor that most women use when they're judging and making evaluations of men. And it is such a flawed system to use, which, as you can see, is the dating results that women have. You know what I mean? Like it's something that is impossible to ever tell. So if you use something that is impossible to ever verify as a as an important measurement on something that's critical to your life, like dating, relationships, etc., you're always going to be led into a situation where you're going to be disappointed or hurt. Because when you talk to women and you talk to them about their perspective of men and what they view a quality man is, they're going to base it off somebody that my uncle or my dad was this, my dad is so perfect, my dad treated my mom like this. And it's like, you don't want to bust her bubble and be like, man, you don't really know how the hell your dad treated your mom for behind closed doors. You don't know what she had to deal with. You don't know what your dad did what your father did when he was alone. But these women will take these things and project this perfect vision of their dad because they have a portion of the scenario. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know if your mom was jealous of other chicks, or you don't know what the case was. It's not like they bringing you in there and setting your baby chair up to discuss their sex life or their relationship. So that mentality is, I know, I guess it's part of the reason they have unrealistic expectations, because they're only just projecting the positive things that they saw in the men in their life, right? But when you talk to women about men, that's their main method of judging a man, whether or not they think he's faithful to one woman. And that doesn't make much sense. Like, a dude only having sex with one woman does not say anything special about him as a man. Because men have to earn the ability to get women to sleep with them. Men can't just go walk in the bar and say, hey, which one of y'all want to sleep with me? It don't work like that for me. And so the idea that just because a man is faithful to one woman, that makes him a good man all of a sudden, that's totally idiotic. He could be a bad dad. He could be a poor communicator. He could be abused. Like, there are lots of things that could be messed up about this guy. But most women look at he's faithful and they use that as, oh, he passed the test. But that's flawed, because there's no way for you to ever know if somebody's faithful or not. So when you see women write down a list of requirements of the men, somebody that's faithful, somebody that's loyal, they put their very first thing that they're going to put is something that's impossible to tell. So all a man, a fuckboy, has to do is give the impression that he's faithful. Thus, the situation that most women find themselves in. They're all in, and they have this false belief of what a man is because they have a flawed system of evaluating men. That's why they struggle so much with it. That's why they can't tell the difference between a real man, a quality dude, a man that's really about something, and a fuckboy. Because they're just using that one thing. Oh, is he faithful to one woman or not? So that's a very flawed dating strategy that millions and millions of women seem to buy into. All right, so the next post that I'm gonna talk about was a post that I put up where I was talking about how being sexually aroused can impact a man's judgment. So it says being sexually aroused can cloud a man's judgment and decision making, just like drugs or alcohol can. I think that's a pretty common sense statement, right? Yes, like alcohol, drugs, they impact how you think, the type of mood you're in, etc. And for a man, being horny or being sexually aroused is very similar. The things that a man is thinking about or fantasizing about doing when he's horny are very different than the things that he think about when he's not horny, right? So I just made a basic statement that being sexually aroused can cloud a man's judgment. And I went on to talk about, so that's why when a woman's questioning a man about like a cheating scenario or a situation with another woman, they'll go, that women have this tendency where they'll ask questions, they'll go through this interrogation. So why didn't you do this? Why didn't you stop right then and call? Why didn't you do this? Like they're asking him questions throughout the story of the scenario, and it's like you're expecting him to have the most rational, logical, perfect decision making when he was in a situation where his judgment was clouded. That's not really a realistic expectation. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't mean that they're not still responsible for their behavior. But to for example, like just any post that we put up where it's about cheating, women will always give their idea on what the man should have done. He should have told that hoe to get out of his face. He shouldn't have said anything back to her. He shouldn't have smiled back at her. Like they'll go into these extreme things that men should have done when the dude could have just been smiling at the chick. You know what I'm saying? Like just having a conversation. Didn't do anything that really violated his relationship, but women will say what they felt the man should have done and penalize that man because he didn't do it, right? And so when they're questioning these men about what they're doing, why a man don't just automatically curve a cute chick, why was you smiling in her face? Why'd you look at her? Why'd you do this? Because I'm fucking attracted to her, that's why. It's a natural reaction for him to do those things. It's unnatural for him to control his behavior and respect his relationship. That's the part that you should be commending or paying attention to. But that's not often the case. And so I just made the point that those things have the same impact that, well, not the exact same, but they impact a man's thinking and mentality very similarly to being under the influence of drugs or alcohol. So if we know that operating a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol is going to be very different than when you're driving it totally sober, it's very similar to that. A man that is in a totally sober, unaroused state of mind is going to be thinking and operating differently than a dude who is trying to play off that he has an erection or that somebody made his dick hard. That's the point. That's it. But as you can see, women get in the comments, you're excusing cheating. All you're doing is making excuses for cheating. All you're trying to do is say is like, what in the hell do y'all be talking about? This is the things that make men say women are very poor communicators. They can't even read what was said without adding to it, without throwing something into it, without projecting their feelings or their thoughts onto it. They have this very difficult time simply reading what was read and stated and accepting it for what it is. You won't find any man that's going to disagree with the statement that a man being sexually aroused can cloud a man's judgment. But yet we have women in here, this is bullshit. This is zero experience being a man, zero experience from the male perspective, but have the audacity to try to tell us what men think and feel. Makes absolutely no sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't make no sense. Either you want to hear how men think and feel or you don't. But y'all can't tell us what we think and feel. Ever. You're never going to be able to tell men what we think and feel. You're not a woman. Nobody said it was an excuse. I think some of y'all need to go Google what an excuse is. An excuse is when somebody is trying to lessen the blame for a wrongdoing. For something they did that's wrong. A man being sexually aroused is not wrong. It's something that happens naturally. So telling you how that impacts his decision making is not a wrongdoing. Thus, no excuse is needed for the behavior. See the difference? So please shut up with the it's an excuse. There's no excuse. Nobody said anything about excuse. There's no wrongdoing. There's no need for an excuse. I'm explaining to you how it impacts men. If you don't want to hear about it, scroll past it. You don't want to accept it, ignore it. But that doesn't change the fact that it is what it is. Notice, zero men disagreed. So if I post something and there aren't any men that disagree, what women say about it really doesn't matter. That means that it really represents what men think or feel. Whether women like it, whether women agree with it, doesn't matter at all. You can feel however the hell you want to feel. It does not change how that particular topic relates to men. So, let's see, what else? All right. So this post I put up said that a woman will always be able to decide who she has sex with. Why she decides to have sex with the man is what will determine if she ends up regretting it or not. And I'm going to go ahead and read the caption on this one. A whole lot of women have bad experiences with sex because they have sex for the wrong reasons. It seems like a whole lot of women see sex primarily as a way to try to get things they want from men. Money, relationships, attention, love, etc. They view sex as a super special gift that she's given to a man and has a sense of entitlement because of how she views the exchange. Unfortunately, that is nowhere near how men view the situation. He knows that sex is a mutual exchange between two individuals, and he knows for a fact he can get sex from a lot of other sources than that particular woman. So he doesn't see it anywhere near as special as a lot of women feel about their own pussy. So when a woman has sex for any reason other than to enjoy the experience and to get pleasure from it, then she's setting herself up to be hurt and upset if her use of sex to get whatever outcome she has planned in her mind does not happen. And when this happens, the woman usually blames the man for it, even if he had nothing to do with her making the decision to try to use sex as a manipulation tool. If she chooses to have sex for the right reasons, she will get pleasure without any disappointment from anything other than the actual sexual performance. Very simple concept. Very simple, very easy observation to make about women. When you talk about women and you talk about their experiences with men and the men that they get romantically involved in, the more you talk to them, the more you'll get to understand that they had something that they were trying to make happen. They had an agenda involved. And the agenda is often unspoken. They don't tell the man what their agenda is. They don't tell them, what the expectations really are. And they just expect them to happen just because they have so much confidence in the sex. And that's partially to do with how women view their own sex. It's you grew up under this magical fairy tale impression that that's the best gift in the whole wide world. So we get it. Pussy's magical to you. You know what I'm saying? And men try to get it everywhere you go, so you have this inflated value on it. But for men that can get pussy whenever they want, it's not that big of a deal. Yes, he may like fucking you. Yes, he may like being romantically involved with you. Yes, he may enjoy spending time with you. But he can get pussy anywhere. And he can also bust a nut without you. You know what I'm saying? So the idea that there's this sex is going to have this enormous amount of value to men is always going to be in balance with how women value it. And so when you place expectations or a sense of entitlement with it, just because of how you view it, you're going to come up short because men are not going to view it that way. He's not going to feel like he owes you the world just because you gave him some pussy. He's going to be thankful. Hopefully he enjoyed it. He's going to be looking forward to doing it again. But he's not going to feel that you are owed or entitled to a lot of the things that women feel they're entitled to just because they're sleeping with the man. Those are facts. And we see that this type of thing happens all the time when it comes to male and female interactions. Women expect certain things from men that they're having sex with that they often don't discuss, that they often don't get him to agree to. And then when he doesn't live up to those expectations, they are upset, they hurt, they in their feelings. Their behavior changes. Now they mad that the dude didn't want to deal with it and cut him off. That's kind of the general behavior pattern that you see with male and female interaction. And it has a lot to do with the reasons that women have sex. Most men have sex to give and receive pleasure. That's it. No expectation whatsoever. Doesn't mean you have to love me forever. Doesn't mean you have to be my girl forever. Doesn't mean you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's really it. Hopefully you enjoyed it enough to want to do it again. That's how simplistic male's perspective on sex typically is. No additional meaning, no forethought about what's going to happen between y'all, no visions of what his tuxedo is going to look like. None of the extra shit. He enjoyed the sex. He hope you enjoyed it too. Hopefully she'll be down next time I'm trying to hit it. That's it. See how simple that is? See how easy it is to get pleasure out of that without heartbreak, without disappointment, without being frustrated? That's typically the difference. Men view it a lot more simplistic than women typically do because he does not place all the expectations on it that women do. And expectations are the seeds that lead to disappointment. So not only are women going to be evaluating the actual performance, whether the dick was good or not, they're also going to be judging whether they got what they wanted out of it. Does he love me now? Is he now going to make me his girl? Or are we now going to lead to marriage? Etc. That's all the post was saying. That's all the post was saying. Women get hurt because of the expectations they place on sex. Men typically don't. But you'll even have women trying to argue that. Some of the most basic things that we see over and over again, women will try to come to my page and argue it just for the sake of arguing. So did I say anything that was not true? Didn't represent what we see in reality? Did I mention anything that we have not seen that is extremely common among men? No. This is stuff that just about all men experience or deal with. And so I'm explaining it to y'all so that y'all can see how your thinking and your behavior often leads to the self-inflicted heartbreak that I'm always talking about. It's not always the guy's fault. A lot of y'all read into stuff and make up all kind of extra assumptions the same way y'all do in my comments. Terry, you said this. Terry, you're contradicting yourself. You're being a hypocrite. Ain't I the one to tell y'all what all these definitions, what these words mean? If I ever said something and then turned right around and said the opposite, wouldn't it be blatantly obvious to hundreds of thousands of people? Wouldn't it? Don't I go live and explain and break down every single topic I talk about? Aren't the thoughts consistent? Isn't the terminology consistent? Don't we see all the things that I talk about in real life? So how can I be contradicting myself if I'm so consistent? I have years worth of videos on YouTube. 2015, 2016, 2017. You can click one from today and go back 3 years and click one and the conversation will be exactly the same. Topics, everything will be exactly the same. Why men cheat, why men feel this way, how men go about dating. So I'm extremely consistent in everything I write, everything I say, everything that I post for years. But women will go in my comments, you're being a hypocrite. And then compare two subjects that are completely unrelated because in her brain, those are opposites. That's why men get frustrated trying to talk to women. That's why a lot of times they just feel like, fuck it, it's not even worth trying to explain to women. Because a lot of women demonstrate that they cannot process information especially when the topic of sex or cheating comes up. That's why. That's why a lot of guys write me and be like, man, I can't believe you engage women like this every day. A lot of dudes would not do what I do for y'all because of how difficult it is to get y'all to listen. We see how dismissive y'all are. I give y'all knowledge that is broken down on a highly educated person's level, right? I break it down to y'all in a way that I ain't gonna say nobody in the world, but very few people in the world are going to give you a perspective on relationships like I do. They still reject it. They still ignore it. They still would rather argue and combat it than actually listen. But these are the same women that have visions of having a happily ever after marriage. They can't even accept how men operate without being hostile and combative or argumentative. But they have the expectation that they're going to be able to have some long-term marriage with the man. Does that sound likely to y'all? Not really. Not really. They'll always be able to get dick. They'll always be able to get attention and companionship from men. But they're very unlikely to get the long-term healthy relationships that they claim that they want. And a lot of that has to do with how they think and operate themselves. So the only person that can really make them more desirable or more likely to get those results is the woman herself. And as y'all can see, a lot of women are not willing to make those changes. They're not willing to soak up the game. They're not willing to actually acknowledge that their dating strategies are flawed and counterproductive. They don't want to hold themselves accountable. So you're going to see the same type of thing. Like there are women if I can identify and recognize your username that you've been following me for years, and your mentality, your comments, your logic has all been the same, that's proof that a lot of y'all are not growing. Y'all are here to be entertained. You're not here to actually learn. You're not here to actually understand men better. You're not here to actually improve your dating strategy. You're here to try to prove that you can do it your way. And most of y'all can't. Because y'all's dating strategy is so fucked up. So, I guess I'll get to a couple of questions before I get out of here, man. I don't think I took questions from y'all for a while. Let me see where. All right, y'all. So shoot out some questions, man. I'm gonna cut the YouTube video short right there, and I'll just answer some questions for the next 15, 20 minutes or so. Steve Harvey's in the business of getting rich. Tell women what they want to hear. Yeah, I mean, got some of the stuff Steve Harvey says is accurate. Some of it's nonsense. He was on Man Cave, and I think I actually posted the video up of it where they was talking in. The thing that he says about a man professing his love and protecting and providing for his family, that's really accurate. Outside of that, a lot of it is hit and miss. You know what I mean? I don't think that he's going to ever say things that women don't want to hear. So he makes a lot of it just sound good. Give them the cookie in 90 days. You know what I'm saying? Like little stuff like that. If it's up to y'all to be able to filter through what's quality information and what's not. Y'all prove that y'all can't really handle brutal honesty. The biggest complaint, Terry, your tone is this too. We don't listen because of your delivery. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of shit that they say to me. It's like, okay. If you want to ignore the logic because it wasn't wrapped perfectly, go right ahead. Those are that's the type of cognitive dissonance that you'll see from women. They don't really want the brutal honesty. The people that post bullshit get way more love and way more followers and shit than I do. That's what y'all like. That's what y'all like. Shade Room block me, apparently. You know what I'm saying? Like, Chicks get in their feelings over my posts. They don't feel that way over Steve Harvey or the other people. Why? Why is that? Why? Because he's never gonna say nothing that y'all don't want to hear. He's never gonna talk. He's never gonna do a show about how dumb women dating strategies are. He's never gonna do a live session breaking down how dumb the stuff y'all believe in is. Why would he? How many women y'all think would be love to show up in the audience on a post on a show where he's talking about why y'all struggle at dating? None of y'all would want to hear that. So those are the type of things that you see. Yeah, Shade Room blocked me. I didn't know until people, a lot of the posts that people send me are stuff that Shade Room posts. So like when they DM it to me, it'll be like post unavailable. And I'll be like, man, I can't see it. And so they'll screenshot it. I'll be like, oh, they got me blocked. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I figured out that they had. But I actually like Shade Room. But it's ran by women. People would tag me like in their pictures, like, Terry, what you think about this post? And I used to be like, well, I don't think this applies. You know, I'll give a little quick, thought or whatever. Guess that was too much. So that just goes to show you that the most popular women with the biggest platforms filter it to, they even women that are popular, even women that are making it, getting their feelings off the simplest stuff and act in childish manners. Like, I would never block nobody that wasn't disrespectful or did nothing to warrant being blocked. You know what I mean? But that's just the general thing that you see on social media, though. Shade Room is ran by women. Yes, it's women. It's ran by women. What else y'all got, man? Oh, you bought both of Steve Harvey's books? The only book that I read of his was Think Like a, what was it? Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man. I think that's the name of it. Yeah, women will block you for a difference of opinion. Yeah, I know. I mean, you'll see all kind of petty behaviors, but a lot of women take pride in pettiness. They think that it hurts you to be blocked or not see their page. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people really treat social media like real life. You know what I mean? Like, they get mad at you in real life, they'll unfollow you from Facebook and stuff. So these are stuff that's been studied for years. Like, I studied this in grad school, social media and the behaviors that are associated with. So I'm not hurt by it. That's why I don't get hurt or in my feelings over Instagram. Like, I'm aware. I have enough self-awareness to know that it don't really matter what men think about how men feel. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to change anything. So that's how I'm able to just give it to y'all anyway. I don't care if you scroll past it. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you comment on it. I don't care if you disagree with it. I don't care if you unfollow me. So I can just post it and not care about any of the results. You know what I'm saying? Like, because for one, I'm not trying to fuck my followers. I'm not trying to impress my followers. So it gives me the freedom to be able to say, this is what it is, take it or leave it. And if you get in your feelings and don't want to take it, I'm not hurt or upset. You're the one that missed out.